Thief and Assassin, two of the most played shells in all of Marathon, and some of the best drip in the game. Now, both of these shells offer a different kind of approach to Marathon altogether, but nonetheless, these are the most picked shells when it comes to solos, most definitely. And of course, even in team play, you still see these two shells being picked at a decently high rate. But why is that? Why is it out of every other shell in the game are Thief and Assassin the most picked? Well, today that's exactly what we're gonna figure out. We're gonna do a versus. I want to compare the two shells and their kits together. Now, I know that Thief and Assassin both do two totally different things. I still want to do a comparison and see who is really reigning supreme when it comes to solo play and even on the team play aspect. And then we're gonna combine the scores and see exactly who's on top. Is it the Stealth King or is it our Thief of the Night? So when looking at Thief's kit, you already know what she's got, man. She got that X-ray visor. That X-ray visor, boy, that's one of the best things in her kit. And if we're being honest, her entire kit is actually kind of goated, but we're gonna just briefly go through it. You already know how the X-ray visor works, and again, for those of you that might not know, that essentially is going to allow you to see the valuables. So again, for the people out there who might be Apex Legends fans, think of your Lobas. She can see the value of the goodies, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's in like a crate or something, it don't matter. She sees the rarity of it. But it don't just stop there. It can also hack the enemies if you're looking at them long enough, or if you got the right cores on there to actually help extend the duration of it or make it work better. And last but certainly not least, it's an amazing counter to Assassin. If you think you safe in the Assassin smoke while you going up against the Thief, think again. It ain't that, okay? She's got her grappling hook, again self-explanatory, can allow her to move around, and the pickpocket drone. Now, they did nerf this a few times already, but it is still a good little thing to use around there to kind of get a good lay of the lands and what's going on, see where people are without putting yourself and your teammates in harm's way. Now, how does this work in a solo and a team setting? Well, obviously, solo-wise, if you got your grappling hook to kind of give you high ground, get you some distance or whatever the case may be, we all know how a grappling hook works in a lot of video games. Again, for my Apex fans out there, Pathfinder, think of it that way. And again, like I said, the ultimate, which allows you to get a good scope of where the area might look like and what's going on over there, who's in the area. Now you got a better idea of like, okay, this person is right here. By the time I kind of get myself positioned, they're gonna be here. So I know how to approach the whole thing. Now for me, where I think Thief shines the brightest in solo play is her X-ray goggles and the grappling hook. Those two things paired together, you can make a lot of plays. Like I said, man, you getting a high ground, it's not too many shells in the game that can reposition themselves that fast in the game. So she's got that upper hand on a lot of the shells in here. And then obviously the X-ray, where you're going up against, again, an assassin, another solo king, that's gonna help you win those fights, because a lot of the times assassins think that they're safe within they smoke, and they are, unless they're going up against a thief who has her X-ray vision. Now, the drawbacks to this shell, even though I think the grappling hook is extremely good for getting to high ground and getting you to a place kind of quick, to me, where I think the drawback is, if you're caught out in the open for the most part and you're using your grappling for the movement, don't get me wrong, yes, it is gonna allow you to get in and out of bad situations at times, but I do not think it's your best bet in a lot of situations, because after you use it, you gotta wait however long it is for that cooldown to go up, and then after that, she's completely defenseless. She has nothing else outside of that grappling in her kit to help her maneuver and stay alive in a lot of situations. Again, when you get into that drone, you by yourself, you sitting kind of in a corner somewhere hoping nobody finds you, and then maybe a nigga does find you, and now you in trouble. Because like Crypto, again in Apex Legends, she has to just sit still in a corner somewhere while she's operating that drone, which leaves you vulnerable. So that's two things where it's like, again, you use the grappling hook, you ain't got nothing else to move around and protect yourself. Your X-ray vision ain't gonna be able to protect you and save you, and then your damn drone, you become a sitting target for somebody that might just so happen to pass by and want to look in your corner on some weird shit, and now you dead. So she falls short in a way in solos, but once she gets into the team sense, a lot of those issues quickly fade away, because when you're using your drone, you can kind of have your team around you and keeping you safe and protecting you, especially since Marathon is a slower paced game. So y'all are moving more like a unit in tangent, and y'all are going slower. So now you got protection while you're in your drone. If you're using your grappling hook and now you want to take high ground, it works because maybe they looking at your teammates and they think they got a good shot, or if they down somebody, they'll come outside of that building they hiding in, and now you got an easy shot because you got the high ground and the leverage on them. They weren't able to get there there as fast as you. You know what I mean? So in solo play, again, I know Thief is still one of the better shells in the game, and if you put yourself in the right predicament, you ain't got to necessarily worry about your grappling hook not being there or being the only line of defense and movement that you have. You're fine. But for me personally, I would say that Thief is probably like a B to a B plus in the solo category. Once we get into the team sense though, that's why I think she is easily able to hide and disguise her quote unquote flaws, and she becomes a A minus to a flat out A type of shell in the team setting. Now that boy Assassin on the other hand, Assassin is a shell whose abilities thrive in a solo scenario, and it just allows you to play the game at a very different pace in solos. Now, Assassin's abilities are ones that shine extremely brightly in solos. Again, we all already know it. We all go up against Assassins in solos, and honestly, at times you be annoyed as shit from it. The game is the game. Now, again, every one of his abilities is just going to allow him to cloak himself and be shrouded. Like, you got your trait number 1, which is the shadow dive. Basically, all that's happening is you jump from a high place, you don't want to take no fall damage, go ahead and throw a smoke bomb. You ain't gonna take no fall damage. You actually gonna make a cloud of smoke, and you gonna get that ability to cloak yourself. And the reason that the cloak happens when you do this move right here is because of shroud. Anytime you get into any form of smoke, Assassin is going to cloak himself. So anything, smoke grenades, your abilities, other assassins' abilities, other people's smokes, that nigga getting cloaked. And then obviously you got active camo here, which allows you to go invisible whenever you have that ability ready at your disposal. Yeah, y'all, so real quick, I gotta correct myself in this video because Bungie just showed a preview to the newest like half point of season 2, and it looks like they're getting ready to slightly nerf Assassin. Now, it doesn't look like the entire kit, it more so looks like just his cloaking ability is getting ready to be nerfed a little bit, where you sprint and it turns off, but then the second you start to walk or you're crouch walking again, it looks like it'll turn itself back on. Does that really kill Assassin? In my opinion, no, but it does make playing him aggressively more of a challenge in that regard if you were trying to use your cloak. But everything else in this kit is still top tier, and I think it still carries somewhat of the same weight, but you know, we gonna have to just wait and see. So just wanted to give y'all that heads up so that this video didn't age horribly within like 2 days or something like that, but enjoy the rest of the video. And then obviously, lastly, you got the smoke screen, which just throws a whole bunch of smoke bombs out there, and you shroud yourself in the clouds, and you become hard to see unless you're playing a thief. Now, with all these abilities, man, it's just obvious to say, it's the easiest and obvious thing to say that Assassin's probably the more superior shell when it comes to solo runs in that regard. Again, there are drawbacks to this kit and things that you have to be wary of because there are things that can counter you, but for the most part, you are going to have a better chance with Assassin, and most of the lobby is probably gonna get out there and run around with Assassin, and then you might find the occasional thief or two out there. Now, just like Thief, I gotta talk about where Assassin is gonna shine. Now, granted, Assassin cannot take high ground as quickly as Thief can and get around certain objects and things like that in her regard. Just because he can't do that does not mean that he is less of an aggressive type of shell that you can play in the game. In all honesty, you can really play Assassin extremely aggressive, even in the solo play. It's just that others are always playing Assassin extremely passively and campy. But the aggressive way would be more so like, let's say you did get on top of a roof because you heard somebody inside of a building and you want to try and throw them off and get to them. If you got a smoke, you can throw a smoke at the entrance of the building and then jump off of it and shroud yourself at the bottom. Now, they're not entirely sure. They heard you shroud at the bottom and they know you down there. Who's to say you haven't completely rotated? You come out of that, activate your camo, and now you start moving in to try to make a move on them, especially if you have your ultimate. Now, that's in solo play. Now, when we get into the team play aspect of it, it becomes a lot easier to make those kind of plays, in my opinion, because now you might have your teammates the same way that Thief did, that they're taking in a lot of the attention. They're aggroing the bots. They're making sure that the enemy team that you're going up against is primarily focused on them, while you've taken the long approach. You've swung completely behind the team, activate your camo, get up in there and get yourself an easy knock. And even if you feel like, okay, it's 3 people up, even if I get 1 knock, what do I do? If you carry a smoke grenade, you go in that, you in camo. If you saved your ultimate until you knock somebody, throw that down. Now you get to heal yourself and you took some damage. You can move around, have the team think that you left the building by opening the door, but not actually leaving it, but instead you in a corner, and it still gives your teammates time to push up in that building, and now it's a 2v3 situation in y'all favor. So again, even though Assassin can't attack the exact same way that Thief can, he can still be extremely useful in attacking, whether it's in solos or in a team setting. Now again, there are the drawbacks like Thief being a counter to him. You even have Recon being a counter to him. And then lastly, he's somewhat of a counter to himself, because when you activate your camo, people can hear it. Especially if you're in solo, they're listening out for those things. The game is really quiet, so you're listening for any particular thing. So you hear it when it activates. When it deactivates, you hear exactly where he is, because now you know he's no longer shrouded. In the team setting, it's still an issue, but it's not the major issue like it is in solos, because you don't have anybody to rely on in that game mode. But in the team setting, even if they hear it, you might be all right, especially if you've made the play of dropping somebody and now you just need one of your boys to get up in there and help you out too. So who gives a shit if they hear you at that point? So ultimately, if we talking in the solo gameplay, I'ma have to go ahead and give Assassin that A grade. You know, I think that's where Assassin shines the brightest, is in solos. Again, you do have to worry about the thieves and possibly even the recons, but a lot of people don't want to run recon in solos because recon is a shell that has no way of defending themselves when they're caught out in the open. And then lastly, in the team setting, I'll be honest with you, I think this is where I'm gonna also give Assassin A minus. Now again, I understand he does not provide the same type of value that Thief does, especially with that damn drone, but the way that Assassin can just still kind of play for himself, which also benefits and helps the team, and that ultimate, which allows you to throw smoke down, so if one of your boys gets downed in a fight, it gives you a little bit of leverage to kind of mess around with. You can fake the res and then get them to get up in there and look for you, and now you get an easier situation where you can either knife them, or if you got a shotgun, you can pop them real quick. Like, I know it's a lot of me play, but the me turns into a we kind of play, especially if you know how to work around Assassin's abilities, and it just gives you so many ways to outplay the opponent. So ultimately, I think with the current season and the way things are, Assassin is just an A across the board. Now obviously I know a lot of y'all thinking, well, that must mean that Assassin is the better shell. I think that's fair to say, especially in the current season with the current meta. So where I give Assassin an overall A, for Thief I give her a B plus to a A minus. Yeah, I'd say Assassin right now is on top. Whose kit is more fun? Because at the end of the day, that's what we care about too, you know what I mean? Like, yes, we want to win, but we also want to have fun while we're playing. Now that all just depends on you. Personally, I love them both. I think they're both great for two different complete reasons, because they allow you to play the game different from one another. But I would be lying to y'all if I said that recently I haven't been really enjoying myself messing around with Assassin, especially playing him a lot more aggressive than what most people probably are. I think Assassin right now and Thief are neck and neck when it comes to the level of fun. And there you have it, y'all. That's my first ever versus, having Thief and Assassin go up against each other. Now again, my word ain't law. I'm not saying that I'm the greatest at this game and I know everything. I just wanted to give you guys my opinions and thoughts. But now, what are your thoughts? What do you think? Do you think that Thief once upon a time used to be the end all be all, like it was a no-brainer? Or do you think that she's still really good right now regardless on who is playing Assassin? I'd like to know you guys' thoughts and opinions on that. But until then, man, I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. So y'all make sure y'all stay up, stay safe, and stay blessed. And as always, Gojo Clan. Peace and hair grease.
Yo, Tutti, you ever got fucked by the war machine, bro?
Excuse me, sir? Have I ever what?
No way. No, I didn't. No. I was reading something. I was reading something, bro. What did you?
Oh, it's a team here. Yeah. I down one of these niggas.
War machine bucket. Oh, they down there, yeah.
Nice.
War machine bucket, baby.
All right, hold on. Here I come.
War machine. Yeah, that's her. That's it. War machine is bucket.
Hell yeah, nigga. Hell yeah.
GG, boys.
Hey, good shit. Y'all niggas was funny as hell.